in far western Kentucky, southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, where there has been a history of some long track deadly tornadoes out to the west. So we all need to be taking this very seriously. So this is what's in store for us potentially late tonight if this activity doesn't weaken much. Just line segments and clusters that will be heading our way, all out ahead of a cold front that's out in western Missouri. You can see some tornado warnings up here in central Illinois, several tornado warnings here just south of Paducah, more tornado warnings in northeastern Arkansas. So this is just an explosive, severe weather setup, and that's the outlook that we have heading our way, especially after midnight through about 8 o'clock in the morning. We definitely need to stay aware of the weather conditions around us. And since a lot of us will be going to bed soon, make sure you have a way to wake up if a warning is issued like this one that we have. And again, this could be the first of many that we see. So this latest tornado warning here is until 11:15. So this will go on for another half hour or so in far eastern Breckinridge County, and stretches through Meade and includes far northern Hardin County as well. And that will take it towards the Fort Knox area. So this is the back edge of that thunderstorm where we find some of that circulation. Another track on this, that's also going to come with possibly some damaging straight line winds. Even if you don't get an EF0 or an EF1 tornado, straight line winds can do similar damage. 70, 80 mile per hour winds can be destructive, do tree damage and cause some power line and power outages. So this is the latest track here that meteorologist T.G. Shuck just put on. Again, over the Bewleyville area net right now, and just about 5 minutes, Buck Grove heading your direction. Again, be seeking shelter away from the doors and the windows, interior section of your house, and away from the doors and the windows. And if we can get back to full screen, we'll take a look at some more towns here. This is Grampton, Fort Knox at around 11 o'clock, so you've got about 15 minutes there. Dietz Acres, Pitts Point, Shepherdsville, possibly if it holds together, heading your direction, moving through Meade County, northern Hardin County, that little sliver of Hardin County, and then into Bullitt County and cruising right through the Fort Knox area. Bardstown Junction, also on the end of this list, toward the end of how long that tornado warning will last. So again, this is the first one that we've seen. This was earlier a severe thunderstorm warning that was over much of Breckinridge County. And TG, what do you think about the rotation? You've been analyzing this over the last 5 or 10 minutes.
It doesn't look overly, obviously it's not tightened up as far as the couplet goes. Unfortunately, we've been having a little issue relative to the National Weather Service chat. So, you know, as far as reports or anything like that, we're still trying to effort that. But as been alluded to earlier, the issue that they have in Western Kentucky that we haven't had up until now is the most unstable air and the best dynamics have been just out across Western Kentucky, just right up to the really western edge of the WHAS 11 viewing area. So a lot of these storms that have been producing tornadoes, say out towards Central City, Muhlenberg County, within the last hour and a half, as they have gotten right to the edge of our viewing area, they have weakened out. That's why we haven't had any tornado warnings up until this point. But obviously we have one now. We had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier across Breckinridge County. So, and we were looking at the energy out that way, and it's much more sufficient for that rotation. There's a lot of shear and a lot of turning of the winds with height in the atmosphere, more so out into Western Kentucky. Right. But of course, Ben, we've been talking about this behind the scenes. As that front draws closer, some of that will probably be pushed our way heading into the overnight hours. So,
and why it's going to be a long night. Yeah.
Yeah, by no means are we going to be out of the woods after these first few rounds move through as far as these individual cells, because there's plenty back there, as we showed you just a little bit ago.
Let's go ahead and do one more track, and then I'd like to kind of reset, show you the tornado watch. There's a tornado watch for basically the entire WHS 11 viewing area until 3 a.m. And we're going to see these, again, clusters moving in from time to time. We might get an hour or or two break, and then the severe weather threat might ramp up again. We'll also back out and show you where we have some more activity. There's another tornado warning just outside the viewing area down the Western Kentucky Parkway. So again, here's the latest track heading towards Ekron at 10, basically right now, 10:47. Rockhaven 10:54. Muldraw at almost 11 p.m. and into Fort Knox and Pitts Point over the next 10 minutes to 20 minutes, and then Shepherdsville at about 11:15. So good idea to just be seeking shelter in the lowest level of your home, away from the doors and the windows. Now, TG, if we slide down to the southwest, I wanted to check out that storm that also had that tornado warning out in Ohio County.
Yeah, the chat is back up, and I was just going to reference that next cell that is heading toward Breckenridge County.
Yeah.
These things have literally been lined up, just going over the same pieces of real estate,
one after the other,
Yep.
just along and north of the Western Kentucky Parkway. So this is moving out of Ohio County. If that holds together, we may end up with that tornado warning. If they extend it, it could be moving towards the Hardinsburg area. Either way, Hardinsburg, heads up, you've got that supercell that's going to be wanting to track your direction. Notice that they're all moving to the northeast at about 50 to 55 miles per hour. Now let's back up a little bit more, TG, and look at the metro area and the entire WHS-11 viewing area, just to give you an idea who's in the clear right now. There's no severe weather happening in southern Indiana at the moment, but that's going to ramp up as we progress through the nighttime. Also, as we get south of the parkways, very quiet conditions at the moment. It's this zone basically just south of the Ohio River and to the parkways that we've had these supercells lining up.
So Ben, just checking out the chat, folks at the Weather Service saying that the storm that's tornado warned right now for Meade and Breckenridge isn't looking as good as it did when they first issued the warning. So again, these things cycle, but at this point they're planning on letting it ride for a little while longer and then probably eventually letting that go. But again, there's obviously more back to the west.
We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Let's go and switch to Tornado Watch. We've got the Tornado Watch over our viewing area, but it's one of the largest groupings of tornado watches that we've really seen in our entire career. This is the tornado watch that we have over our area until 3 a.m., but look how big it is. It stretches up into Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, all the way back into northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, again through Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and Tennessee. So covering, I'd say, about 9 states here. Very large area under tornado watches. And we switch into the radar and satellite combined, you're going to see the reason why we have all of these different tornado watches. There's probably about a dozen tornado warnings happening through Illinois, western Kentucky, and then down here in northeastern Arkansas. And in between, you've got severe thunderstorm warnings. So these little groupings, line segments, it's not one squall line that's going to be moving through here, TG. It's going to be, again, these clusters through the nighttime.
Meteorologist Alden German, he's on our Facebook Live. He's in the Weather Center. He's got something to add.
Yeah, I've been seeing comments from people saying that they're hearing the sirens going off in E-Town and in Hardin. Just want to address the folks that are living in those communities. There is no tornado threat if you are in E-Town or Hardin. That threat is only for that area that's been shaded in that red box. So that's included Irvington, just to the south there of Brandenburg, Fort Knox, Akron, West Point. Those are the locations that are under the gun for that tornado warning right now. So if you're hearing those sirens in other parts of Hardin County and Harrison County, such as near Hardin and E-Town, the tornadic threat from that storm is well to your south or north.
Yeah.
So just want to clarify that to some
And Alden, that happens sometimes for some reason. Sometimes those tornado warning sirens will go off even when there's not a warning in your county, and we don't have a reason for that at this time. Yeah, TG, you were looking out west.
I was going to say, the one cell that we wanted to show you that is well west out into western Kentucky. Unfortunately, I mean, this right here within this has been a long track violent tornado. You've seen Mayfield down there in the bottom left-hand part of your screen. Literally, the signature went right over Mayfield, which is in Graves County. It's a county seat. About 10,000 people live there. And out of the Paducah chat, getting reports of literally major and catastrophic damage in Mayfield. But remember, again, that part of the state, that area of the country, again, the dynamics much more conducive for those long track tornadoes where the air is much more stable. But of course, it's in the Commonwealth. I know people have relatives out that way, out near Paducah, and it's been a rough night across northeast Arkansas and especially far western Kentucky.
So the radar signatures that we've seen are some of the most impressive that we've ever seen out that direction. If you hit on the Cape button, TG,
I was just about to do that.
I want to show you the energy that is out to the west.
Broaden out here. There you go.
So this is where we have a moderate risk of severe storms. That's one level higher than what we have. We're under the level 3 enhanced risk from the Storm Prediction Center. This is the available potential energy for thunderstorms to use to become supercells, become strong enough to become tornadic. So it's a lot higher that direction. What we've seen so far over the last couple of hours, those long track rotations and those tornadic supercells have been tracking along and north of the Western Kentucky Parkway, but then they bump into more stable air that we have over our area. So the good news is we've kind of got this barrier that's been allowing the storms to weaken as they get closer to Metro Louisville. Big severe weather ingredient out here, along with jet stream winds. A lot of dynamics, a lot of ingredients for severe weather, but it's a little bit less at the moment. Now the problem is, as we get after midnight, late overnight hours, TG, we're going to see some of this energy start to spread our way. I don't think it's going to be that great, but we are going to have some more of that energy. That warm air mass is going to slide our way out ahead of the cold front that's going to finally sweep through our area around 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a long night.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just you see that cluster really of thunderstorms that's prompted the tornado warning. Again, it is not looking as significant as far as some of the rotation and the velocity on radar as it did when they first issued it here, within the last 15 minutes or so.
And that's good. It's on a weakening trend. This is the radar in northern Hardin County, West Point, Fort Knox. This is the tornado.
And they're going to cancel it here within about a minute, they say.
Great.
A minute or two.
This is going to be canceled. It's not well organized. It's well south of Hardin, by the way. Alden was mentioned the sirens were going off there and down towards Elizabethtown. It's well north of there.
Still put a little track on it here since it's apt to have some damaging winds, of course.
Emergency offices got excited. I'm not sure why the warning sirens would have been going off in those areas. All right, so here's a track where you could possibly get some isolated damaging winds out of this, but as TG mentioned, it looks like this, there it goes. All right, so the tornado warning is gone for Meade County, northern Hardin County, so that is good. We're losing that rotation. But still, this storm is going to be tracking over the southern sections of Metro Louisville, probably along and just south of the Snyder, and then just north of Radcliffe, Lebanon Junction, heading towards Shepherdsville, Brooks, northern Bullitt County, Mount Washington. What are you going to get out of that? You're going to get some lightning and thunder, some heavy rainfall, and some gusty winds. Now, outside of the thunderstorms themselves, late tonight through the overnight, early tomorrow morning, we're going to have some wind gusts around 20 to 40 miles per hour. It's going to be blowing out there. So this track, we've got it heading towards Davidson, Muldrow, Fort Knox, Brooks, Shepherdsville, Mount Washington, in the Crenshaw area. Again, not a tornado warned storm. I would definitely stay inside as this begins to cross your area. We just had a thunderstorm move off to the northeast. Let's go ahead and back up and just show the general view of our area here, TG. Show you where there's some rain.
The Ohio County tornado warning is going away as well. So there's one great. Just that one should be disappearing, but there's the bird's eye view. As you can see, all the really rough stuff is out to the west. But let's zoom in.
Not
got
severe.
Some thunder and lightning.
Not severe thunder and lightning, just heavy downpour around Eminence and into Henry County, and then we've got between Bedford and Grange some heavy rainfall. And I know we're kind of all on edge because we've been talking about the severe weather threat for the last couple of days. Those storms aren't severe. There's not much activity in southern Indiana at this time. There's one thunderstorm there that's not severe in eastern Jefferson County. Now, what's coming our way later on tonight with this tornado watch that's in place, and you can see everything that's happening out to the west. This is December 10th, so we're only 2 weeks away from Christmas Eve. We don't get very many December severe weather outbreaks, so this can catch a lot of people off guard. It's going to be a nocturnal event happening at the night during the nighttime. A lot of us are sleeping. So what we'll repeat often is just have a way for you, your neighbors, your friends, to wake up if a warning is going to be issued, because there's a lot of activity that's on the way that's going to be moving in over the next several hours and during the late overnight hours. Paducah and areas in northeastern Arkansas, areas around Paducah, you can see that line's pretty healthy. Another one out towards St. Louis. That's ahead of the actual cold front. And can we switch over to the temperatures, TG? I just want to show you that we're in the 60s all the way out to Missouri.
Yeah, just FYI, just to show you how rough it's been out in western Kentucky, Paducah has actually turned their responsibility over to the Springfield, Missouri office, which is their backup office, because they've lost power and their backup power is about to run out. So, you know, far, far western Kentucky, again, boot heel of southeast Missouri and western Kentucky and northeastern Arkansas, you got to give props to the Storm Prediction Center. They put the bullseye of the moderate right over that area, and that's where the worst of it's been. But you're pointing out
out there. And there were
where
some
the cold
fatalities
front is.
at that nursing home. There was a couple of fatalities as well. In the Boot Heel, Missouri, northeastern Arkansas. So what I wanted to point out, 77 in Memphis, 66 degrees in Louisville, not normal for this time of the year. So that warm air is one big ingredient, along with a low-level jet, a mid-level jet. A lot of energy coming together for this recipe of severe weather that's going to be in the atmosphere through the overnight hours. Look how far west the cold front is. We saw all the lines of thunderstorms out in that really soupy air. It's 37 in Kansas City. So that cold air is going to sweep in here during the late morning hours and into the afternoon tomorrow. And we're going to have some wind gusts around 20 to 40 miles per hour. So hopefully you've had a chance to put away those holiday decorations and things like that. All right, let's set it back into motion here as we head back into our metro Louisville, Kentuckiana area. There's that huge tornado. It's actually a grouping of various tornado watches from our area, stretching all the way to St. Louis, down to Memphis, Nashville, and into Little Rock as well.
I was going to say, Ben, we're hitting the top of the hour here with Night Team, and Doug Prophet's getting mic'd up and ready to go here. And
we will start the show very soon.
He's got, I think, some information relative to, I think, back in Meade County, and we can kind of reset and get everything rolling.
Okay, TG, I'll just give you that update right now, Ben. As well, I just got off the phone with Meade County dispatchers, and they are watching, of course, the warning that was out in that area. And so far, they agree with you all that it's radar indicated. They have had no reports. Their dispatch line is not being flooded with calls of anybody reporting damage. They're in the Brandenburg, Meade County area. So that is good news. But as our entire First Alert Storm team is telling you, really, we have a lot more ahead tonight. This may be good news coming out of Meade County that so far they're not getting any damage reports, but we don't want to lower expectations for the severe weather that's approaching us. As you all have talked about, a catastrophic tornado hitting the Mayfield, Kentucky area just south of Paducah, Ben. So the intensity of that, do you believe it's going to stay intact as it gets closer to Louisville?
What TG and I were explaining earlier, they have a lot more available energy for supercell thunderstorms out to the west. We think that will weaken a bit. So we are certainly hoping, crossing our fingers, praying that we will not see the destructive and deadly tornadoes that they're seeing out to the west. With that said, we definitely need to be on guard because some of those thunderstorms that are that large, those supercells, can have a history of becoming long track tornadoes and last quite a while and move our direction. Plus, we might have little spin-up tornadoes through the nighttime, along with some bow echoes and damaging winds. So the severe weather threat, basically, we're watching it very closely now all the way through about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think damaging winds is going to be your highest threat through the overnight, which damaging wind gusts can be in excess of 60 miles per hour, could be 70, 80 miles per hour, straight line winds, which is very similar to the power of an EF0 or EF1 tornado. They can do similar damage. And if you get the threat here that we're talking about of damaging winds, tornadoes, low threat of hail and flooding, that could lead to some power outages during the overnight, early tomorrow morning, and the possibility of some tree and structural damage as well. So almost all of our area is under that tornado watch until 3 o'clock in the morning. That might get expanded even a little bit later. We might see that tornado watch get moved farther off to the east. We have this thunderstorm that has lost its tornado warning that it had just about 5 or 10 minutes ago. But we have some very heavy rain coming down around Valley Station. It's moderate rain in Shepherdsville. There are some rumbles of thunder, some lightning here and there. And there's going to be some gusty winds, maybe 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour. And there might be a couple power outages from this. So this is moving into Valley Station. There's Dixie Highway, there's the Snyder, and this is tracking off to the east and northeast. So it looks like this will be heading between the Waterson, the Snyder, northern Bullitt County into Fern Creek, J-Town here over the next 15 minutes or so. And then you've got another thunderstorm that's moving into Breckenridge County, and it looks like that's the one that also has lost its tornado warning. So the good news is when these thunderstorms we've seen so far that had tornado warnings, it's moving into slightly more stable air over our area. We've got another thunderstorm here that's in far eastern Jefferson County in Indiana, moving into Trimble County, and you can see it kind of arcs towards Newcastle and into Henry County. Here's that broad view again. There's that, I've been calling this the appetizer before the main course, which is all of that activity out to the west. So we're still going to see more and more of this robust convection and severe thunderstorm activity heading our way during the late overnight hours and early tomorrow morning. So we've got a ways to go. There's that line over the Mississippi River, and that one heading towards St. Louis. And that is, again, that very large tornado watch that we've been looking at across much of the region. So Futurecast here shows more of the scattered showers and thunderstorms, some strong to severe. Outside of the storms, you get some wind gusts 20 to 40 miles per hour. Look at that warm air through the overnight hours. This is around 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning. Temperatures well into the mid and upper 60s. That's going to be the highest temperatures of our Saturday tomorrow. And then we'll drop into the 40s by tomorrow afternoon. So here are the thunderstorms that we have at about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, we don't just have one sweeping squall line that's going to move through like we often have with a cold front. It's just going to be wave after wave of some heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and possibly some gusty winds and some isolated damaging winds as well. I think about 8, 9 o'clock, we're going to see that threat of severe weather diminish off to the east and southeast, and notice the wind direction shift and the temperature drop. This is at 9 o'clock in the morning, and look at these 30s and 40s that begin to move in during the daytime tomorrow into the afternoon. And again, tomorrow afternoon, some wind gusts 20, 30, possibly even up to 40 miles per hour here, Doug. So we've got a lot of changes that we're going to be looking at here for the next 24 hours. Minute by minute, hour by hour, the entire First Alert Storm team is going to be watching that threat of severe weather. Right now, we don't have any warnings at this time. Tornado watch until 3 a.m.
All right, Ben, thank you. Let's begin the WHS 1119 right here at 11:04. And as we come on the air with you tonight, video just in this evening of twin tornadoes forming in the state of Arkansas tonight. A nursing home hit in Arkansas. 2 fatalities reported so far. Many people trapped there. That storm system moving into western Kentucky, where a catastrophic